Good evening, Stacey. How are you today?
Hey, beautiful. I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain. It's Monday and it feels like summer.
It does. It does. It's a little too hot. Sharon, I prefer 65, in between 65 and 70.
Uh-huh. That's good.
That's,
Spring.
that's what I want to eat spring all year round. You know what I mean?
I would love to have spring all year round. Minus the pollen. If we can get rid of the pollen, then I would welcome spring all year round. Yeah,
This
definitely.
this may sound crazy, Sharon, but I did not realize there was a lot of pollen out
Mm.
till a couple days ago. I was at work and I walked outside. I came back in and my nose was burning.
Oh,
And a
okay.
couple of people that I mentioned that to said it was pollen. But
Yeah.
Sharon, I hadn't seen any pollen,
Mm. That
but
pollen.
that's what it was.
Yeah, it's pretty bad already. So I don't know what this spring and summer is going to bring us, but that pollen is heavy already. So, yeah.
Well, I can tell you one thing. It's gonna mess with my blood pressure because every time we get ready to go somewhere, lover need to go to the car wash before we arrive at our
Oh,
destination.
oh, well, he would hate my car because my car looks yellow. I
I
can,
do, Sharon. I
you
do.
can, you can see the pollen on my car. He would hate my car.
So what you got
That-
for us tonight, Sharon?
well, I think since we're talking about the seasons, I want to talk about change and transitions. Because, well, we've announced that this is going to be our finale show for our
Mhm.
ballot season of
Mhm.
Exhale with Sharon and Stacey. And I just want to, first of all, thank you for pulling me out of my comfort zone to do this because, it's good. It was good. It was definitely good for me to have this experience. And I look forward to continuing in our next season.
Well, no, go ahead. I'm
But
sorry.
that just made me think about change because Stacey, um, people don't do good with change. Transitioning, new chapters, starting new, ending something. People struggle with all of that. So I thought about well, that probably would be an idea last subject for us to talk about. So that's how I came up with that.
Wow, I like that, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna say thank you, Sharon. I've been on a couch. I've been on the couch a few times doing these shows. I've enjoyed being on the couch. I've learned a lot, Sharon. I've learned a lot, and I certainly hope the people that have been watching, I hope that they've learned a lot
Yeah.
because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Having Sharon on this show and doing this show with Sharon, you guys done saved some money. Even though I tell you, you need a longer session, book Sharon.
But Stacey, I felt like it was edutainment,
Okay,
education and entertainment at the same time. Because I mean, your personality is just amazing.
thank you.
You pull in people, and I know they feel comfortable, with your style and with your delivery. So I felt like it was definitely some education in there, but it was some good entertainment in there as well. And some of the feedback that I got kind of echoed that they felt like it's both, and it looks like you're having fun. So people want to go where they can have fun, but also they want to leave with something, and we gave them that. I think
Yeah.
we gave them that. We had
Wow.
some very interesting topics.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? And I guess that's why people love you, Sharon, is because everybody don't want to always hear the bad.
Hmm.
There are some people that don't have anybody to talk to. They can't afford to go talk to anybody. And what you've been bringing on this platform is blessing those that don't have a best friend. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
people have questions, and if they can't talk to their friends, they'll say, "Well, I don't want to go talk to a stranger either." And here you are coming right into their home. And I don't mean to keep saying it, but we ain't had no copays, y'all.
That is great. Well, the whole thing is, moving forward with purpose. So as we've been transitioning, we've been learning each other, learning each other's styles, and you know, collaborating on topics and how we want to present them. So I think it was a good, it was a good run, most definitely a good run. And the last show of something, the finale always comes
Mhm.
when there's a break needed.
Uh-huh.
So, I would share with people I got some things on my schedule that would interrupt the Tuesday flow, and Stacey has some things that she's working on as well. So we say, well, let's do a season finale like all the other shows do a season finale, and we'll
Yeah.
come back. We'll regroup and come back and bring you some more fresh topics. So that's the goal.
Well,
That's
I'm looking forward to this, what you're going to say about change, because I am someone, I don't mind change, but I'm big on if it's not broke, don't fix it, Sharon.
yeah,
And I
that's
guess when I think like that, it keeps me, that's one of the things I've had to fight over the years. That fear keeps me afraid to make a change.
right, exactly. I will be honest with you. I am
Okay.
not someone who embraces change readily. I'm
Really?
I am a planner. I am a planner. So if there's going to be change, then it has to be planned out. That's what I'm most comfortable with. Not that I can't go with the flow because I can, but I don't like unexpected change. I would prefer it say, hey, we need a change or a transition needs to happen. And this is the way it's going to roll out so that I can prepare. I like to be prepared because, we never did a show on trauma, but if you have a history of trauma in your background and
Okay.
unexpected things occurred in your life, things caught you off guard, then that's a trigger. Change can be triggering to that season or that time during your life. So I've worked on myself to get to the place where I can be more spontaneous, but that trigger will come up like, oh, wait a minute, I ain't prepared. I'm not ready for this, and then I got to say, that's your old stuff, Sharon. That's your old stuff coming up. You got this. And then I can get on board with it. But if you ask me, planned out change is much better.
it, it is better. And I guess it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
one thing I've learned, I won't plan everything, Sharon.
Mhm.
If it's an event, if it's a show, if it's business,
Uh-huh.
okay, so I want plans, right?
Right.
But then there's the social part of my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm so dedicated to trying to build my brand,
Mm-hmm.
I have had times where family members or friends say, you want to do such and such on Saturday, or you want to do such and such at the end of the month. And
Uh-huh.
I've said yes so many times and I did not do it.
Mm-hmm.
People are disappointed. People, I knew she wasn't going to do this, blah, 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 blah. So now I find myself on my social side there
Uh-huh.
saying, I can't promise that right now. Let's see what happens.
And
And
that's
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 and
good.
yeah, that's simply because I don't have to hear their mouth. I don't have to disappoint anybody. I don't have to feel bad for counseling. But the way I work, but they don't understand that, but at least it makes me feel better.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
definitely. Yeah. And it's funny that when we think of change, automatically we think of something negative when we think of change, but change can be positive, it can be
Right.
good. Um I think it gets the bad name because who likes uncertainty, you know?
That's
There's
true.
some risk takers out there. Don't get me wrong. There's some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who,
yeah.
are very spontaneous and are huge risk takers. And so for them, change probably is not bad. And you have people who like variety. So for them, change is not bad. But the majority of people are creatures of habit, just kind of creatures of
Yeah.
habit. You got a routine, like the routine, have figured out how to do something and don't want it to change. And the majority of people that come to me about change is because they've gotten used to doing something. They know how to do it, they know what to expect, and they don't want it to change. But change can be good.
So when it gets to that point that they have to come to a therapist,
Hmm.
Is it because, is it like, can you give examples of like the most, like, is it mostly people in relationships, or is it people just in daily, I mean, just their daily life?
Daily life, relationships, all that's the it can be a change in the way the job is structured, the
Mhm.
team, you know.
Right.
It can be a change in the program that they're going to use. Now, I'm guilty of that, you know, when I worked for agencies, if they were going to change their computer system that I already know how to use,
That's that's good. Okay,
you
okay.
want me to learn another system?
That's
Oh
happened
my
to me.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Relationships too, you know, people don't like changing relationships. And then moving, you know, changing and moving you got used to your neighborhood. So any type of change, you know, it's kind of comes from walks of life, all areas of life that change is challenging to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
you know, you got to get to that place where you allow folks to talk through the fear of change and the narrative, because we all create narratives. All of us are storytellers. So, you know, most of the time, the thing that's bothering us is the story that we created about the change, not the change, but the story we created about the change.
So maybe instead of instantly becoming angry,
Hmm.
maybe we take the time to sit and think, well, could there be any benefits to this change?
Exactly. Yep.
Hmm. Look at
Looking at the
Tracy
benefits.
learning.
Looking
Okay.
at the benefits. Yeah, definitely. And that's key, you know, because most of the time when people think about change, we think about ourselves, you know, what's in it for me? How's this going to affect me? You
Right.
know, what's going to be different? So if we can get to that place where we sit back and we say, oh, let me open my mind, you know, let me just kind of stretch myself. Let me get outside of my box and just allow it to unfold and then make decisions as we go, you know, it could be a whole lot better and less challenging and less of a struggle. But when you buckle down and nope, I don't want to change, I like it the way it is, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a challenge. We got a whole chapter, a whole area, a whole diagnosis called adjustment difficulty
Really?
because people struggle with change. Yep.
You know, a big thing that I think, like, in life, a change. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. We were raised in a different generation than our children.
Right, right.
We were raised a certain way, being raised up in the church.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now our children, who are being subjected to so much information out there,
Yes, yes.
I've encountered this. Ma, I still believe in God, but, and for me as a mother,
Mhm.
I guess that change right there,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it first happened,
yes,
had me a little bothered, Sharon. Had,
yeah.
had me a little bothered because this is what I learned. This is how I was raised.
Uh-huh. Yep.
This is how I raised you. And now you want to come and talk to me
Mhm.
about, I believe in God, but I don't believe this part. I believe this. And
Right.
then, then I had to tell myself, Stacey, be thankful that he's not believing in a God that condones violence. you know um be
Right.
thankful that he still prays and he believes in God, but that's his life, and I just continue to pray. But that's a change, Sharon, that goes on in the household.
Yeah.
That's a little rough.
It's interesting you bring that up because when you talk about people that were religious part of it and changing churches,
Uh-huh.
oh, you're not changing churches. Unless you move out of the state, you're not changing churches. If you move over to the other side of town, you just need to drive an hour over here because you're not changing church. That's a tough sale for people changing churches, you know,
Right.
because that's where I've always gone. You don't have to be getting anything out of the service. It's just this is my family church. This is where I'm going. Now you bring that up to your grandma who
Ooh.
got baptized in her church. Girl,
I know, Sharon. I know.
Oh my.
It's some things. It's like, especially if you deal with our parents or whatever. Some
Yes.
stuff you just don't do. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So those traditions die hard, change
Wow.
a tradition. Think about that, Christmas dinner is always at Big Mama's house. And then you got
Right.
children and you want to stay at home for Christmas, but you can't because we
Right.
always go to Big Mama's house for Christmas.
And then Sharon change. You decide to marry someone.
Ah,
He has a family and you have a family. You
yes,
can't go to your mom and dad's house every Christmas. You need to
exactly.
go to his parents' house sometime. Ah.
Exactly.
See, people don't think about that, Sharon, when they start entering these relationships.
You know what? When I got married, we struggled with that, and I understood why people married people from their hometown. It's so much easier, you don't have to worry about traveling and splitting up time. And I was just like, my God, yeah, I understand. I get it.
Let
I
me tell
definitely
you, when
get
the
it.
boys were younger, I tried that going to both houses on Christmas, right?
Mhm. Right.
And not to tell all my business, but there was a third house I needed to go to. Okay.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
my parents weren't together. So I
Okay.
got my husband's
That's
family, I
reality.
got my mother and my sisters, I got my father. That got hard, Sharon.
Yeah.
So we got to the point. You go to your parents' house, and I'm gonna go to my parents' house. We
Right.
have been together this morning. We'll see each other tonight. It's a lot
And
because you
that's true. That's true.
because you can't act the same way you love your parents. Your
Right.
mate loves their parents like that.
Exactly. And Stacey, that worked for us until we had our daughter. And once we had our daughter, it was like, we back here again. We gotta
Yes. And my boys, they wanted to go where the most presents were gonna be given.
Yeah,
Because there were more people that was gonna be at that house. But
exactly.
yeah. It,
Exactly. Yeah. New chapters. That's what we're talking about. New chapters, trying to get comfortable with a new chapter in life. And
so
change is challenging, most definitely, but it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to bring about fear. And typically, when, like I said, when you think about change, people think about the negativity, what it's going to cost me, not what I'm going to gain, how I'm going to benefit. uh it always goes to the negative side first, and then you can work your way over to the acceptance. Okay, well, it may be okay. Well, some people come to change kicking and screaming. Well, I ain't gonna say I like it, but if that's what we got to do,
yeah. Yeah.
that's what we got to do. So,
So so Sharon, what about, and we don't have to go in deep conversation about it, but for those of us, for those of us out here that figure, well, we believe that the new president and the new president's team, they we believe that this is too big of a change.
yes.
How are we, Sharon, supposed to deal with? Because Sharon, I gotta admit to you, and you mentioned to me one time before when you were talking about anxiety, fear, and
Mhm.
denial. I
Right.
asked you, what do you mean the fear? But Sharon, I saw something about a week ago
Hmm.
that brought fear to me.
Okay.
Something and that surprised me, but at the same time, it had me. I'm not going to look at the news every day. And then it had another part of me saying, but if you don't look at the news every day, you might miss something.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what do we do? Because this, we've had some major changes. So how
Yeah.
do we deal with that fear?
Yeah. And that's a big one that you're talking about. And that's, oh my God, that is like probably the best example of change that you can put on the table tonight, because Lord knows we have. Now, when I said like people like to prepare for change, we have not had preparation. It's just kind of shooting out, and it's shooting out at us at every side, every
Yes.
area of life: food, your job, um, the political alliances, your shopping. I mean, everything. And this change is coming at us from Black history, all of this, change, 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 change. And it has people anxious. It has people because it's too much to take in. It's overstimulating. That amount of change is overstimulating, and our brains cannot take it all in. So you did the right thing, and I did the same thing that you did. I was like, I got to turn this off until it rolls out, because it has to settle. Something has to settle. It's a lot of talk. And when you first start thinking about change, think about it not just in the government, but in anything. There's going to be a lot of talk and a lot of gossip and a lot of speculation. And a lot of what we get caught up in is the speculation. Well, this person said that. Well, they said that. Well, I heard this. Well, I ain't hear that. I heard this. And then we caught up in too many different areas. So the pullback has to be, where's my limit? How much is too much, or how much is enough for me? What am I feeling? And I took my cues from my body. I'm a feelings person. I feel stuff. So I was like, okay, I can feel this physically. So I have to cut the TV off. And everybody needs to figure out where their limit is with information overload, because all of that stuff that was rolling out was information overload.
To
And
cause confusion. And that's what it
confusion.
did.
And that was the goal. The goal was confusion. The goal was confusion, to keep it forefront in the news, to have people not feeling like they have any control over anything, or, there was this feeling of dread that everybody was feeling. And then I think people got it. I think a lot of people started to say, oh, too much, pull back, turn the TV off, turn the radio off, get off of social media, scroll quickly if it comes up, so that you can take back control of your emotions and your feelings, because it was information overload and
It
fear based.
it was. And if you're someone like me, it doesn't even have to be direct that affected me directly.
Yeah,
I hurt I hurt for others. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Um so it's a lot. You
Mhm.
sometimes, like you said, it gets overwhelming. And
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
is
it's
it
a new
hard?
chapter. This is a new chapter in our history.
Is it hard, Sharon, though, explaining like what you did, getting through to people?
It is, because it's real stuff. You're talking with people who have worked for the government for X amount of years, and now their department has been dismantled. And then you got the new people who just got in there, who started to build a life around their job. I got a salary now, so I can buy a house, or we can have that baby, or we can buy a car, or whatever. And then here's this major change that came out of nowhere, no preparation. So it's hard. There is a real crisis aspect to how this is. So it's like having a person to work through a crisis.
Wow. But
Yeah.
just like during COVID times,
Uh-huh.
we not only survived, but there were some of us, there's some people out there that have been blessed with a purpose or a gift that was supposed to make a move a long time ago,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they've been complacent.
Exactly.
And I have realized that sometimes it's sad when anyone loses a job,
Yes.
but for some of those that lost a job, that became, I say again, complacent,
Mm-hmm.
God was edging you to move. And
Yes.
you
Yes.
did move. Now you have to move.
Uh-huh. And that's that new chapter. That right there is that opportunity for that new
Wow.
chapter, because I was complacent. I really was. I never, because Stacey, I told you, and probably everybody else who listens to us, that technology is not my strong suit. So I never, ever, ever signed any contracts to do virtual counseling. Never. That was
Never.
just like, virtual. I'm not doing that. No. But on a certain day, and I think it was March the 20th, 2020, when they told us we had to go in, and then our companies that we deal with as therapists said, we're going to open the virtual platform. And because it was a mental health emergency, state of emergency for mental health, we couldn't stop working. So they had to open these virtual platforms for us to work. I'm scared to death because virtual, what? Me?
Sharon, but it was the same as seeing the person in person.
But you got a computer and you got Zoom and
Okay.
Google Meets and Teams and all of these other platforms that I didn't know how to use and hadn't planned on learning how to use. So when that
I,
came about, it was like, oh my God, virtual.
I get it. Because
What am
I'm
I
at work.
gonna do?
I'm at work now, Sharon, right? When I'm at work, I was never an admin, okay?
Uh-huh.
Never an admin. So as an admin now,
Hmm.
um, people say, and I've been there almost 3 years, and someone said to me, Stacey, are you on Teams? And I said to them, I've got the app.
Right, right, exactly.
And well, I'm gonna tell you a big one, Sharon. I'm gonna tell you a big one. And see, it's too much for me. It's too much for me. Just give me the date and time. Stacy, go to my calendar and set up a meeting for us to talk.
That part.
No, you send me an invite, please.
Right. Yes, exactly. That part. Yes.
So some
Mhm.
things, like everybody in my department is digital computer science, right?
Oh,
Sharon,
that expectation.
hold up, Sharon. I know my chairperson when he come in my office, he's like, Lord, have mercy. And I told him, I got papers there. I'm old school.
Right.
So I guess I don't want to change. I've tried.
Yes, I'm like you. The digital calendar, when they were like, oh, now your calendar, I have an agenda that I go into Office Max to buy so that I can write these names of these clients down in this book.
Some of this stuff is just hard. Sharon,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you something. And this
Uh-huh.
isn't to bash anybody or anything, because I
Hmm.
have friends of all races, um, gender,
Right.
Sharon, a big change for people my age.
Hmm.
We've been through school and we've learned pronouns.
Uh-huh.
I guess you're gonna say, Stacey, you didn't try, but this is what I concluded.
Okay.
This is what I came up with. And I'm not gonna lie, my first thought was, listen, I done been through school. They done taught me all these pronouns. I'm not learning all this. I'm not
Right.
changing my pronouns out, right?
Right.
But then I said, you know what? There's some people that can change, but I'm at 53 years old, Sharon, I said, I'm just gonna call people by their name.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
don't think that's offensive. And I'm honest with some individuals.
Hmm.
There's some changes I just can't get with. And
Yeah.
it probably is
Right.
because of the generation, from different generations. No offense to anyone, but
Right.
some of us, I ain't
Hmm.
gonna compare myself to a dog, but they can't teach an old dog new tricks. I mean, I'm still learning stuff, but it's just some things. Um, I guess embracing the change is hard for me.
Yeah, yeah. And we all have our areas, where it's like, I can do this, 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 and this, but that right there, that's a tough sale for me.
Right,
Like, yeah,
right,
that's gonna be, we all have our areas there. And we talked about last week we talked about boundaries. And so that's
right.
when some of those boundaries have to come up where you say, I'm not changing that. That is, this is me, and this is how I think about it, and this is how I've always and I'm not changing that. And so you set that boundary, but you are saying, but I'm still going to respect you. You know,
Right,
I'm going to
right.
respect you, but this is me, because the change part of it is twofold. When you're talking about
Right,
some preferences,
right.
there it's twofold. So setting that boundary and being respectful, that's all you can do.
So I guess we don't like you. Well, I guess that's what you're saying. I don't have to accept the change. I can be respectful,
Right.
but there's certain changes that I just don't have to accept.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. So
I
so
can
Stacey, how do you how do you know when it's time for a new chapter? When it's time for change? Like what cues do you get from yourself, or what do you take your cues from to let you know that it's time to change?
I'm not as excited as I was, maybe.
Hmm.
I become I could become overwhelmed.
Okay.
And this thing that I've been building, my brand, Sharon,
Yeah.
I've had to change things about myself.
Hmm.
And it was hard because I got used to doing certain things, but I became overwhelmed, stressed.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just instead of enjoying, like
Hmm.
there's some things I was doing, instead of enjoying it,
Right.
I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I was being
Right.
worn out and stressed, and
That's a good one.
that made me at one time say, "Wait a minute, you got to do something different."
Yeah. Yeah.
How,
Yeah.
how do you know when it's time to change something?
That's a big one, that stress that you're talking about, feeling worn out and it's no longer fun, and maybe tired and irritable, um,
What? Yes.
unmotivated, the
Mhm.
motivation starts to
Yeah.
fizzle. That lets me know something has to change. And it may be as simple as go back to your why. Why are you doing it, or why did you start it, or what does it mean to you, or what do you gain from it, or what do you contribute? Going back to the whys and the what could help me to know whether or not it's time for something to change. And it could be burnout sometimes,
Yeah.
and after I regroup, then I can go back and answer that question better to say, okay, but is it, yeah, I'm burned out, but is it time for change?
Right.
Because, yeah,
And I think we need to recognize too. We need to know the difference of working hard and something not working immediately, and we get tired.
yeah,
Some things are so important. Things don't come easy. So there's
right.
some things we have to work hard. We're going to get tired and we're going to be stressed. And then
Yeah,
there are other things that we really shouldn't. I guess you got to know the difference.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
if I'm stressed over this and it's not making my spirit feel good, I don't need it. But
Right,
if I'm grinding hard and I'm stressed over building this platform, well, Stacey, guess what? This is what you need to do to grow.
right, right, exactly.
Right? You
Yeah,
know,
yep, that's true.
got
That's
to
true.
know the difference.
Because Stacey, I wasn't on social media at all until I wrote my book. Um,
You won't promote your business or anything?
I was not.
Look at me. Like I'm this big social media person. But now after being on it with the talk show and stuff and just like knowing this is what I have to do when I
Yeah,
meet somebody with another business. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier. Um, and she has a business and and the business needs customers. And I said, "Are you promoting on Facebook, Instagram, and things?" She said, "No." I said, "Nothing on social media?" Because it's like, how are you going to make it now? And we
right.
keep it old school. You can go to the mall and hand out flyers all you want, but
Yeah,
you need to be
business
on
cards. Uh-huh.
it. How's it going for you?
Right. Well, social media, like I said, it was a tough sell for me because the luxury that I had and have is that the insurance companies that I contract with, they all have directories of their providers. Just like when you're looking for a doctor, you go to the insurance company's directory to see who's in network.
Uh
Well,
huh.
I didn't have to do this because my name is in the provider directory. So if somebody wanted to do business with me, they went to their insurance company and picked a name. And my name stands out, child. My last name is Fortune. So
Yeah, yeah, okay.
and they see that name, a lot of people would say that name just stood out to me. I was like, well, I'm gonna take her because you're taking a gamble when you pick a therapist. So you
Right,
really don't
right,
know us.
right.
So I never had to do any type of marketing, never. But this whole book thing is different. Self-publishing and marketing is a big piece of it. And that was a change for me. And everybody that I talked to was like, well, what's your IG handle? Or what's I said, IG what? What's your Facebook? And I had Facebook personal Facebook, just,
Mhm.
with a small number of friends on Facebook, because I just had my classmates, my family, that kind of stuff. No, they were like, mm-mm, you need IG, you need TikTok, you need Facebook, you need LinkedIn. I
Uh-huh.
was
So
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed because I've had people asking me, "Are you here? Are you there?" And I'm gonna tell you one that threw me off in learning all about this marketing thing. Someone, I saw someone at a wine event in
Uh-huh.
Petersburg, about 2 years ago, and I remembered her. She remembered me, and we were gonna exchange information. And
Hmm.
she says, "Oh, just scan this." No,
Yeah.
I said, "Do you have a card?" And she says, "Oh, just scan this." And I'm like,
Yeah.
and Sharon, I go in my bag and I pull up out a paper card.
Right. That would be me.
I got to go home and figure out why she do that.
Right. They're talking about a QR code. What? A what? A coupon?
Yeah.
No, a QR code. Oh, what is that?
The only QR code I know is when you go scan something in the store.
Right.
You know,
Exactly. Yeah,
it,
that changes a bear, I tell you. It
it,
is a bear, It's inevitable. It's
yeah.
inevitable, but we
Yeah.
don't welcome it all the time.
And you
Not
think
at
you can
all.
change now? Wait till we have grandchildren and
Oh
what
my.
what
Mm,
they're doing. Because I almost feel like what other changes can there be? But
right.
things.
Keep on living. That's what my grandma used to tell me. Keep on living. You just keep on living.
Now, one change,
Hmm.
Sharon, I want to know what you're gonna say about this, and I know we gotta go, but this thing when they say men go through women go through menopause. What do they
Hmm.
call it when men get in
Midlife crisis.
their midlife crisis?
Midlife crisis.
Sharon, and they go out, they buy this, they want to do this, want to do that. What do you say to women about men when their man is going through midlife crisis?
That is
Or
a
vice
ooh,
versa. It's a
yeah,
change for a man when a woman starts changing. Oh, that's
exactly.
another show, Sharon.
That's a whole show. Let's dock that and let that be
Okay.
one of our first show, 'cause that is a whole show. That's a good topic.
Maybe we'll bring
Definitely.
when we come back, from
Yeah,
after the break. Don't
yeah.
forget that, Sharon. We need to talk about that
We
one.
need to talk about that. That's a good topic, most definitely.
Right.
Definitely. But in the break, let's let people know how they can continue to follow us and engage with us during our break. So, how do they keep in contact with you? What are you going to be doing?
Whew. Well, I'm gonna do. I'll be okay. So on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, IG, Facebook, and YouTube, I'll be doing my show, the Stacey Thomas Show.
Okay.
And coming up, I have a Saturday show that's gonna come up. I'll put that out. And Sharon, that's gonna be interesting because I'm honestly wondering. We'll see another change. I'm
Yeah.
honestly wondering would Saturday mornings be better for my show?
Hmm.
So, to
That's
keep
a
up with
thought.
me, just follow me on Facebook. I am Stacey Thomas.
Okay, that's good. Saturday morning, a show. I think it'll do well. I really do. Yeah, and that's the whole change thing, and transitioning, like trying a different day just to see what that may bring. Will that bring a different? Will more people tune in, have more time, or would that bring a different element of people, or a different population? So that's a good idea,
Hmm.
definitely. So I am, Stacey. What I'm trying to do is um I want to develop my YouTube channel. So I'm planning on, yeah, I want to give that some time because I haven't really given that a whole lot of time. And what I want to do is just kind of not doing live, but uploading some.
This is not doing live.
No. Uploading some videos that may be part one, part two, part three, that type of thing, like maybe a series on such and such and such and such. So I want to try that on YouTube, and my YouTube handle is smf.counseling, just like my IG. And I may Stacey, you have kind of hammered that nail into me about doing some short lives on my own in the midst of our break, and I'll try that too. I'll try some short lives, and they'll be on IG and on Facebook.
You might try them lives and come back and say, Stacey, I ain't got time for you.
No,
Right.
no, no, no.
You got to be careful what you tell people to do. You might be messing your own stuff up. So the videos. So are you going to be taking a role like as posting videos like we see some other doctors and therapists doing when you
Yeah,
say part 1, 2, and 3?
yeah, some of the more the edutainment type videos, but I really what I think I'm going to do, Stacey, is as a part of promoting my book,
Okay.
I'm going to do a video with that may be like a question and answer type video, and then I want to break it down from there and go into the different characters, and so those parts will be like
That's
kind of
going to
spending
be
some time with the characters in the book.
that's going to be very interesting.
So that's
Maybe
what I want to do.
and maybe when we come back or maybe we can come up with something like we could do this discussion on the characters of the books because your book is very interesting.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you. That would
it's
be good.
something, it's something that for those that watch that don't know about the book, you should really get it. You'll find yourself in there.
Yes, you will.
It'll have you looking at yourself. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And then finding yourself is the
Finding yourself.
whole thing, finding yourself and then reconnecting. Yeah. So I just got a passion for that part, women finding ourselves because we've been so fragmented and wearing so many labels and hats. So I want to spend some time with that part of it. And I think I abandoned that a while ago, just kind of doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I want to go back to that because I feel like I left that incomplete. And I just need to bring some closure to that.
And I have a question for you
Hmm.
to end the show, and probably should have be doing an interview on my show with you.
Uh-huh.
You're a therapist.
Yes.
You can give everybody else advice.
Hmm.
You can tell us what you believe, in your opinion, we should do. You can help us deal with things, right?
Hmm.
Who do you go to?
My
How do
therapist.
you have a okay,
Ther-
okay.
Therapists have therapists, just like doctor got to have a doctor, therapists
Okay.
have therapists too.
Does
Yeah.
life, second part, maybe somebody's gonna laugh. Does life drive you to that therapist or your clients? I want to answer.
Typically the clients don't drive me to my therapist.
Okay,
Life will drive me to the therapist
okay, okay.
because Stacey, a lot of people will say, I don't understand how you sit there and you listen to people's problems all day long. Oh my God. But I look at it, you got to have the right mindset to do this. And if you look at it as problems, you are going to be overwhelmed and drained and overworked and overfunction. But I look at it as opportunities for change. We call ourselves change agents. And I look at it as an opportunity for somebody to come to me. And for me, it's they are a project. And I always tell people, treat yourself as a project, and we're going to figure out where the changes need to occur. And so it's kind of like peeling back onion layers and just kind of getting deeper and helping them to get deep enough with themselves that they know themselves now and they know what changes they need to make. So I find that interesting because I've always been a curious person. So that keeps me from experiencing it as sitting there talking to people about their problems all day.
So, last question.
Hmm.
My mother wasn't a therapist,
Uh-huh.
but I'm sure there have been some more mothers that acted like mine. Because you don't talk to somebody else who kid and did something bad or husband and did something bad.
Uh-huh.
You bring it home and tell your kids what they better not do or what your husband better not do.
Yeah.
You bring it home.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I know my daughter gonna get tired of me. Like, oh, mom.
Okay. I just wanted to know. Bringing other
Yes.
people's problem home. My mom would come home and tell us, "You better." She get angry. You better not do what her kids did. Blah blah blah. Okay, okay, I'm done.
Yes, yes. Well, Stacey, on the break, I want to say just take care of yourself, pace yourself. I wish you well with the projects that you're gonna, transition to and explore until we meet again. It's been
Sweetheart.
great.
It has been great. You know what? I'm wishing you the best.
Thank
Uh,
you.
give me a heads up if you'd have made it big time or you just too busy for Stacey. Um, I look forward to I look forward to seeing you grow. I look forward to seeing me grow. But I look forward to if we both are able to come back,
Yeah,
the conversations. And don't forget relationships. At least we got to do that one.
we have to do that one.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. We that I'm going to put that in my memo in my phone
Yeah.
so I can remember.
That's a big change.
That
Oh my
is
goodness.
a big change. Yes,
That might
definitely.
have to be a two-part. When the men go through their change and when
And
the
then
women
when the
go,
women.
ooh,
Yes,
that's gonna be a good
exactly. All
one.
right, y'all. So y'all know what we coming back with. Be ready.
Have a great night,
Tap
everybody.
in. You too.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye bye.